Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, Walls and Ceilings, and Building Enclosure. Welcome to a very important Legal Insights, and honored to be here with Trent Cotney, the CEO of Cotney Attorneys and Consultants. Trent, thank you so much for joining me.
It's great to be here, Jill.
Absolutely. So it sounds like there's some insight you've got. We were just talking about in Ukraine. Can you tell me what do contractors and business owners need to know in regards to what's going on?
Yeah, so obviously, just it's crazy watching the news. It's sometimes it's kind of difficult to watch what's going on, but there are a few things that kind of impact construction that I want to mention. First and foremost is there are a significant amount of Ukraine refugees, and one of the things that we're kind of looking into with our immigration team is figuring out, is there a way to get some of these people over here that could potentially be hired for the roofing industry? So I think there is an opportunity here for us to kind of, circle the wagons a little bit and figure out how can we potentially, kill two birds with one stone, help the people that need to be relocated, but also provide jobs. We're kind of constrained and confined a little bit based on the current immigration regulations, but I'm optimistic that, there can be something there. The second thing that I want to mention to people about Ukraine is the impact that this is having on oil and gas, as well as the supply chain. So you can anticipate that even though your stuff may not be sourced over there, that it's causing disruption, and you can also anticipate increased cost as oil and gas continue to rise, because that's going to affect almost every single aspect of shipping or trucking. And the third and final thing I want to mention, and you kind of mentioned this as well, is cybersecurity. The Russians are well known for their ability to hack and their ability to, basically infiltrate almost anything. So one of the things you really want to be careful about is taking the time to do some in-house looking to make sure that you've got the right systems in place, to make sure that you've got cyber insurance, and just really take a look at that, because if something mass goes out as an attack, it's not just going to be the water facilities or the electric facilities. It could be you, right? So take the time now to kind of shore that up.
I heard and I read last week that we should have cash on hand.
Mm-hmm.
As a business owner, do you think it makes sense to have cash on hand? If
it's never a bad idea, right? It's never a bad idea to have some, whether it's personal or for business use.
Sure.
Obviously, the problem with cash is that it can easily be stolen. So, it's not necessarily the safest thing to have, depending on what's going on. But it's not bad to have something on hand in case you absolutely have to use it. If we're in a situation where we have to use cash, then you can imagine that the value of the dollar and everything else will go to a minimum. So one of the suggestions that I've heard from a lot of people is they have the equivalent of little cards that contain weighted ounces of gold or silver or palladium or key metals that could also be used in the event that our banks are frozen or there's something like that. So again, we're a little bit we're far away from Mad Max, but it's always something to keep in mind.
Very good. So also you mentioned something about forklifts.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a piece of equipment that's very important in construction in general. What can you tell us about what's happening with forklifts?
Yeah, so OSHA's been doing a lot of rulemaking lately. We talked about the heat injury and illness standard, right? But now more recently, they've started doing rulemaking on powered industrial trucks, which includes forklifts and can include things like lulls or lifts, those kinds of things. So one of the concerns that I had from a construction standpoint, I was talking to our lobbyist, Craig Brydup, about it, was the fact that you may have to go back and retrofit all of your old forklifts and equipment. And that's just not feasible for most contractors out there. Well, the good news is that in the current version of the rulemaking that we've seen, they're going to grandfather in equipment prior to this new rule, which is a good thing. Okay, moving forward, you may have to pay a little bit more once they add in some additional safety features, but you can still use your old equipment as of today. Now, this thing isn't final yet, but that is a semi-win for construction as it stands right now.
Very good. Well, Trent, thank you so much for your insight as always. If
Thank
anybody
you.
has any question for Trent, it's cotneycl.com. And if you have any questions for us, please come to roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com, or buildingenclosureonline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content, our website, our e-news, as well as our new platform for our e-magazine. But most importantly, please stay safe and healthy, and we will talk to you next time.